How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another Colin's Performance Corner. And behind me is the all-new A6 Avant. This is the C9 generation of the car. So this is a big car for Audi, and it nearly wasn't called the A6. This was meant to be the A7 Avant, but Audi seen sense from a bit of backlash, and somebody gave them a slap about and said, what are you doing? This car has got a lot of heritage. You know, this went all the way back to the very first known Audi, back when it was the 4 brands. And you know, yeah, this used to be the Audi 100 as well. So this is the C9 generation. It's come a long way. It's got a host of new technology in the car. So I'm going to take you out today. We're going to take it for a drive. We're going to show you some of that new technology, and we're going to get my thoughts on what I think this car is, and you know, how it lines up against all the new modern Audis. But we're going to take it out for a drive. If you like the video as ever, please leave me a like, and you know, leave a comment, give me your thoughts on the car, and if you've managed to get into your local dealer to test drive one, and you know, did you agree with what I said or did you disagree? Let me know in the comments. So hope you enjoy the video, and we'll speak to you all soon. Right then, guys, welcome to the Audi A6. This is the TDI Quattro model, so let's get a wee look and drive of this car and see what we think. So let's give you a little bit of history of this sort of kind of generation and why Audi's decided to abandon the naming strategy that they come out with just kind of under 12 months ago. So it wasn't that long ago that Audi decided that all the even numbered cars were going to be electric and all the odd numbered cars were going to be, you know, combustion engine. So, you know, that's the plan. It happened with the new Audi A5, and then kind of people got on the bandwagon and started hammering down Audi's door and go, you can't do this with the A6. The A6 pretty much is Audi. You know, Audi started pretty much with this kind of platform of car, this, you know, C-segment platform, all the way back to the Audi 100, you know, which came out, and I think the C2 was the first variant of the being called the 100, and it changed name to the Audi A6 when it got to kind of the end of the C4 generation. So, you know, the RS6 is synonymous with the Audi brand, you know, and people think, how can there not be a petrol-powered RS6 going forward? So here we are. We are now sitting in what is now called the Audi A6 TFSI or TDI, depending on what car you go for. Not to be confused with the Audi A6 e-tron, which sits on a completely different platform. It looks completely different. They've both got A6 in the name, but they are completely different cars. So what do we think of this car here? So let's start with the outside of this car. This car looks fantastic, and I think that's helped by the car's longer than the previous generation C8, slightly wider as well, but it's slightly lower roof line on this car, so it gives it that kind of long, sleek kind of look to it. They've finished the back end off at the sort of curvature of the back end. They've tried to take some design philosophy from the previous models. So you'll see at the back there, they have the split rear light design. So they have the light bar which runs along the top, and then below that they've got the sort of kind of the main lights, which is for your brake lights and everything like that. The kind of light bar is just there for your indicators, and your brake lights are below that. So, you know, it's quite funky actually. It's quite a good design. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I quite like it. That looks quite good. And if you look at the car from the side profile, the kind of rounded rear end, they were kind of taking inspiration from the I think it was the C5 version that they done with the kind of bubbly rear end on it. So yeah, no, that looks pretty cool on the outside. Down at the front, you've got these massive big air grills at the front. You've got Audi's new design single frame, and of course you've got Audi's forefront of always at the technology of this. You've got your new digital matrix LED headlights at the front there, which are absolutely fantastic. There's 48 individual LEDs make up that running light, which just runs along the front there. You also get to choose from 7 different digital design signatures from inside the MMI, so you can customise the look of the car yourself depending on kind of what you fancy, just to make it that wee bit more individual. So that's something we've seen on the E6 e-tron and the A5 as well. But you know, I think the design, just with the different headlight on it, the designs available on this are really cool actually. So again, they pick up really nicely. But yeah, this car looks fantastic. It just looks low, sleek, mean, wide, you know, it's just a fantastic looking car. So I think that's a big tick for Audi there in the way that they've designed this car. So let's just come on to the interior now. So the interior will feel very familiar to you if you have joined me on any of my videos for the new Q6 or the new A5. Audi's now went for this massive kind of what they're calling the digital stage in front of you now. So you've got this wide spanning screen that appears to be all one screen, even though it is kind of two separate screens just all on the one panel. Very, very high resolution. It is all HD, it is HDR as well, so you know the colours feel, you know, it feels premium. It doesn't feel like a blurry screen. You know, it's a very, very sharp display, which is good. You have the passenger screen, again, which you can get on the other models, but the A6 gets it standard on a lot more of the different you know, models within the range. And your passenger can control you know, the sat nav, the media. They can connect their own phone up with that as well. They can download apps like YouTube and you know, watch YouTube while you're driving. And again, it does have the privacy mode for the driver, so the driver can't see what the passenger's watching, which is good. Now the great thing with that functionality is if you do have the sound and vision pack, which gives you the headrest speakers as part of the upgraded Bang & Olufsen sound system, the passenger can only hear you know, what they're playing and the driver can't hear it, which is quite cool. It's the same if a phone call came in, it uses the headrest speaker so the driver can hear, you know, what's being said, but the passenger can't. So again, for a bit of privacy, you know, that's quite a good functionality, and it helps with the overall 3D sound inside the car. It just gives you that kind of feel that you're in the middle of the music, which is something that I picked up on in one of my previous videos. So yeah, it's a really, really nice place to be inside here. And one of the things I noticed was, you know, you do notice the difference when you jump inside this compared to the A5. Even though the sort of kind of look is the same, the feel is different. You know, they've used a lot more sort of kind of Alcantara finish now. I'm not sure if it's Alcantara or Dynamica as they're calling it now, which is the kind of like, you know, yeah, the fake version, but it's still nice quality. You know, a lot more of the door card is finished in this Alcantara finish, where on the sort of kind of A5 it was kind of just the door card in this part here, but you know, the finished all around the door handles, along the bottom of the dash, along the sort of kind of bottom of here as well. There's a lot more sort of kind of quality finished materials inside the new A6. They've got lovely leather stitched dashboard along the top of the door card here, as well as the full top of the dashboard. They've got this, same as the A5, this lovely sort of kind of it almost feels like it's aluminium, but it's probably not, but it's got that kind of rugged feel to it along the bottom of the centre console. And then you've got your piano black finished top of your centre console, which is not to everybody's liking, because yes, it does scratch away you know, as you use the car more and more and more, but as I say, it does polish up pretty nicely. Big thing as well, the seats. The seats are so comfortable. You know, they're not overly, even though this is the launch edition model, which is kind of based on somewhere between the edition 1 and the S line, so it's got the same seats as them. You know, they're not overly bucketed, but man, they're comfy. They really, really, really are comfy, and you know, they're all fully electrical adjustable as standard. You know, that's something that's standard in all A6 models, is the electric seats. But yeah, you've got a great driving position in this car. You know, the steering wheel, when people jump in, maybe feel like it's a wee bit small, but it's perfectly sized. You know, it's not a big boat steering wheel. You can see perfectly through the dials, regardless of sort of kind of how high you're sitting up in the car as well, or how low you're sitting down. You know, the steering wheel's in a perfect position, the pedals are in a perfect position, even the pedal rest for your left foot is in a really, really good position. And you know, you feel like you naturally slump into the car and become part of it, you know. And I know that maybe sounds a bit over the top, but you do, it really does feel like that. So driving position is absolutely fantastic on this car. So that's all fine and well, saying that the car's great to sit in, but what does it actually feel like to drive, and how does it feel on the road? So Audi have improved refinement on the car compared to the previous model. They say that the sound coming into the cabin is round about 30% less in terms of decibels. Now that's helped by the acoustic glazing, which is standard on the vehicle, so you know, you've got a wee bit more of a thicker glass on the car, you know, just to dampen the sounds that are coming into the car. I mean, this one as well is the diesel variant, and it's very, very quiet. You don't get that diesel drone when you're accelerating, that kind of like, you know, vibration through the car. You don't get any of that. You know, sometimes you forget that you're driving a diesel, to be honest. So refinement's really good. Suspension, again, it's got you know, the magnetic dampers on it, which you can control basically if you want it soft or hard. You can also get the option of adaptive air suspension on, you know, some of the top models. So if you want that sort of kind of, you know, more glided feeling, the air suspension is fantastic in the new Q5, and I can only imagine in the new A6. I've not driven one yet with the air suspension, but I can only imagine that it'll be even better. Now this is very, very comfortable. I've deliberately took it on this kind of bumpy road, just so you can kind of, you know, get the, you know, the feeling of the sound coming into the cabin, and the you know, the way that it's handling on the road. And it'll be quite hard to tell through the camera, but you know, there is no, I'm not bouncing all over the place. You know, it rides the bumps really, really nicely, and that's probably helped by, you know, the chassis plan. Now this chassis is the same premium platform combustion chassis that the new A5 sits on. It's just been stretched and widened slightly, and that wider stance just makes it sit on that road just a wee bit nicer. The steering as well is really, really nice. Now, you know, a lot of these modern cars, it's all electric power steering in these cars, so sometimes they can feel a bit numb, and you know, you don't feel connected to the car. But you know, pleased to say that you don't get that feeling in this car. You know, even pushing on with it, you know, you can feel when the car starts to understeer, you can feel when it starts to get to the limit of kind of grip, but it's nice and light, and it's, you know, the steering rack's not too quick, it's not too sort of kind of dumb in a way as well. It's just right. It really does feel connected to the road, you know, and it makes it feel like a sportier car than it actually is. Because let's be honest, you know, unless you're going for the RS6, the A6 is meant to be the gentleman's car, the, you know, the car that you would buy if you want something not quite A8, but a bit more refined than A4. You know, it's got the refinement of that A8, and it's not as quite as boaty as the A8. It's still got a bit of driving characteristic around the car as well. So, you know, it does feel great to drive on the road, and yeah, no, big tick there, definitely. So let's talk about the drivetrain and the engine availability that you can get in the new A6. So from launch, certainly there's only 2 engines available. So you get the TFSI 2-litre model, which is in the UK certainly is non-quattro. You can't get the quattro in a petrol currently in the UK. Now, whether they introduce that in the future, I don't know, but if it's going with the way that, you know, the kind of Audi are going, then I don't think so. I think they're going to leave the petrol quattro for the new S6 model, which is probably going to be available to order within the next 6 months or so. You know, they're going to use more than likely the same 3-litre TFSI petrol engine with the mild hybrid technology that you got in the new A5, 370 brake horsepower in that. So let's I'd imagine Audi saying if you want a petrol quattro, you're going to need to wait for that. The other engine available at launch is the 2-litre TDI, and again, that of course, that is the quattro model. Comes with mild hybrid plus technology. The petrol doesn't. The diesel comes with the mild hybrid plus, so that is the advanced 48-volt system, which gives you round about sort of, you know, 24 horsepower. It can do a lot of the slow speed manoeuvrability and everything on that motor, so it can pull away on electrical assistance. It can do all your parking manoeuvres on electrical assistance there, and it's also again there to assist the petrol engine on acceleration conditions. That system is charged, of course, by coasting and braking, so that'll recharge that 48-volt system, you know, by coasting, and you get a wee notification on the dash when it advises you to come off the accelerator to recharge that system back up. It's really good, to be fair. It's the kind of best of both worlds, and it saves you a bit of your fuel consumption, and rather having your engine on doing, you know, small parking manoeuvres, you know, it's good for the environment in that aspect as well. So this particular one, like I say, it is the TDI Quattro model. performance on it, I think, is really, really good. I mean, you know, like most diesels, it's not going to be winning any drag races, but it's very refined, you know, it's smooth, and I think it's with that mild hybrid system there, you don't get any lag. You put your foot down, you can go into any gear and kind of, you know, the power's available to you, and you know, it's very, very smooth. It does have Audi's 7-speed S-tronic gearbox fitted to this one as well, and it is a Haldex Quattro system that's in this one. So again, the proper Quattro, the torque converter, you know, is Triptronic Quattro will more likely be in the TFSI S6, and eventually, whenever they announce the RS6, that'll of course have a proper auto box in it as well, more than likely. But yeah, no, I mean, not a lot of drivetrain availability at the moment. They will be, I'd imagine, adding a TFSI plug-in hybrid model to the range as well, you know, within the next few months, and they're just about to launch the saloon model as well. So the car at the moment is only available to order as an Avant, but they're just about to open the order books out to the new A6 saloon as well. So that looks like a pretty nice car, and we'll get a look at that when it comes out, certainly. So, but yeah, no, in terms of drivetrains, it's certainly looking good so far. So whatever new technology do you have in the car? So this one doesn't have it, but it is available on the new A6. So you get Audi's, you know, the new panoramic roof system, which doesn't have a blind. It has the frosted glass, so it's there to sort of kind of cover over when you don't want the kind of normal glass roof to be there. It's there to block out a wee bit of light and the UV. It's quite cool. It was in the new A5, so if you jump onto the video about the new A5, you'll be able to see I had one with that roofing technology and everything there. So quite cool technology that's there. You also get, as I touched on earlier, the you know, the headrest speakers, which come with the Bang & Olufsen sound system as part of the Sound and Vision pack. So yeah, you can get the sound coming through the headrests. You get the interaction light along the front of the car, which again was introduced on the Q6 and the A5. So you know, that displays some animations like your indicators. It uses your you know, your advanced interior ambient lighting to sort of give you more of a design kind of along the front of the car as well. The car does have as standard the advanced interior lighting pack, so you get your surfaces and your contour lines all different colours, and there's a lot more places where that all lights up, which looks pretty cool as well. So it does also have integrated AI into it as well, so it can connect to the internet, use AI to search all different things, so you can pretty much ask it whatever you want and it will go onto the internet and use the AI technology to find out whatever you need to know, whether it's, can you tell me what's on my route that I can stop and what would be good to see. You know, there's loads of different things you can do. You can just ask it, and without having to get your phone out and check it, you know, it'll do it all through the voice commands, which is quite cool as well. Inside the MMI technology as well, you've got all the sort of kind of new functions that you would expect. There's so much in there. You can control with the car, you can change all the lighting technology, you can change all your climate settings within the MMI as well. The passenger, you can do a lot from the passenger screen, which is quite cool. So yeah, you've got your wireless charge pad down here as well. All your lighting and electric seats and everything are again similar to the A5 and Q6, are just on the side panel here. So pretty cool. Now, being the A6 is probably going to be a family car, what's it like for space? Now, the car has a bigger boot than the previous model, so Audi measure in litres, so it's a couple of litres bigger than the previous model. It won't maybe seem as that when you open it because of the way that the top and the back of the car are designed, but apparently they only measure the literage of the boot up until the parcel shelf area, so anything above that isn't factored in. So the old car probably maybe had a wee bit more litres between that space, but this one being a bit more curved at the back, you lose a wee bit of that. But you know, in terms of overall usable space, it is a bit of a bigger boot, so that's always a plus. Rear legroom is kind of similar to the previous model. There's not really kind of too much difference in the rear legroom, but at the end of the day, you don't want the car being absolutely too long, you know, it then wouldn't get into parking spaces and everything like that. So I think they've done well with the space that it's got. It's certainly got plenty of room in the front here. You don't feel crowded when you're sitting next to your passenger. It feels like everybody's got plenty of shoulder room. You know, you're not kind of sitting like that in the back either. There is, you know, plenty of space in the back to get 3 people sat across the back fairly comfortably. So yeah, no, that's pretty good for space, and a big tick there as well. So this car's also fitted with the new driver assistance systems that you get in all the new Audis. Some people will love them, some people will hate them. You know, to be fair, every time you get in the car you need to switch off the you know, the traffic sign speed warning, which you can do by quick default by programming it into this nice little programmable button just on the steering wheel there. So one click turns that off completely, so that's quite cool. But you know, it does have a lot of things that do actually help you. So it's got blind spot you know, detection, so most cars have got that nowadays, but it's got a more advanced version of that. It'll actually let you know via the interaction light when you open the door. If you were to open the door just before you're going to get out, it will bleep and flash and let you know if there's a car coming, just so you don't get out into the path of the car, which is quite cool. You know, that's a great safety technology to have. Does have distance warning, so basically it's with the animation in front of me, you get a wee animation of the cars and everything that is picking up in front, same as the A5 and Q6, and again it'll give you that red kind of arrows to let you know that you're too close to the car in front. It does have Audi's pre-sense as well, so it does have collision avoidance as well. So if it feels that there's a car coming towards you and veers onto your side of the road, the car will take over and try and steer you away from that collision. It'll also do it from the rear as well, so it's detecting at the time. So if it feels that somebody's going to come you know, too fast from behind, it'll try and veer out of the way of the car as well. So all these technologies are there for safety, and because of that it helps with your insurance costs as well. So the insurance keeps the insurance cost low on the car, even though the value of the car is high. You know, with having all these additional safety measures, it does help with your you know, with your insurance costs, which in the UK is certainly a big thing to a lot of people nowadays, because insurance costs have certainly, depending on where you live, have shot up significantly. So having all that stuff there is quite good to have. You know, all that safety technology, so you know, big tick there. Now let's talk about fuel consumption and efficiency and stuff. So what's this car actually like in terms of efficiency? So I've been driving this one for a couple of days now, and if I look at my computer right now, you know, just even from doing this video, so the type of driving that I've been doing, filming this for you, I have been averaging 55 miles to the gallon. Wow, you know, that is fantastic, you know, for a big car like this, the size of this car, and I'm getting in the region of mid, and it's still going up, you know. I mean, I've only done 17 miles since we've been speaking, but you know, to have averaged 55 miles per gallon, that is pretty good. And I've not even touched a motorway or anything like that. I've just been on sort of kind of town and you know, background A roads here, so you know, efficiency seemed really good. So what's my overall thoughts of this new A6 Avant? So to be honest, I can't not speak highly of this car. You know, if you're looking for a lovely big comfy estate car with plenty of room, lots of nice technology, looks great as well, I don't think there's anything else you would consider. You know, a lot of people say, oh, the 5 Series will be this car's biggest competitor. I don't think the 5 Series has the patch on this car. This car is going to be better value, because the price of a 5 Series now is extortionate. You know, even a top of the range kind of, you know, 540i, you know, the guts say like 90 to odd £1,000 now, which is, you know, bonkers. You know, now we don't know what the S6 is going to be priced like, but you know, I think, you know, the A6 being priced sort of kind of, you know, mid-50s upwards, you know, is fantastic value. Now you're going to be sort of kind of the gutsy, you know, 67, 68,000 for the sort of kind of, you know, the more of the Edition 1 model, but you know, again, a lot of money, but for what you're getting with this car, and I think that the previous generation A6 customers are going to love this car. You know, it's just got that nice touch of modern features about it, but at the same time it's still got that kind of traditional Audi feel about the car as well. So, you know, I'd absolutely recommend this car to anybody that was sort of looking for a lovely big family car. So you know, yeah, that would be my overall thoughts on the car. And there's not really anything that I don't like. You know, I've been in this car for a couple of days now, and there's nothing that I've went, you know, I'm used to this new digital stage now. I'm used to the kind of haptic feedbacks. I mean, I'd probably say if I was being nitpicky, I would prefer real buttons on the steering wheel rather than the sort of kind of, you know, the kind of haptic feedback ones and, you know, touch sensitive ones. Because I know that on, you know, the Q4 and on the, you know, the Golfs and stuff like that, they do break and they do need the steering wheels changed. But you know, if that's the only thing that I would say, if I was to pick out any sort of kind of negativity about the car, the rest of it's great driving position, great driving experience, and great technology and everything in the car. So hopefully you agree with me, and if you wanted to pop down to your local Audi centre, we do have this car available to test drive. So if you're in the Dundee and Fife area, then please pop into Dundee Audi and you can get a drive of this car and take it out for yourself and see what you think. But let me know in the comments what you think of the car, and I'll hopefully reply to you, and we'll get the next video out to you very soon. Not sure what that's going to be yet. It'll probably likely be maybe the new Q5 Sportback, or, you know, whenever the A6 saloon version is launched as well. An all new Q3 is just round the corner as well, so we'll hopefully get one of those out to you next. But hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll speak to you all soon.